Okay, so bring it tomorrow, Jeb, okay?
You're trusting that Corey has done it?
Yeah, I mean, I hope he has. Okay, so yeah, you can just pick the color and pick the
You like llamas?
Sure.
I love llamas.
Y'all like llamas? Okay, cool.
Really?
All right, so.
Just stand by my homework from Friday.
Doop, 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 doop.
Yeah, just stamp it, please.
That's good. It was work from this week. I don't.
I miss Miss Knives. She made interesting class.
Okay, good.
She's still there. She's back in France.
She lives here. Okay, all right, guys. So let's go ahead and get this going. Okay, so over the weekend you had sections 16 through 20. 17 is perhaps the whole crux of the novel, the most important part of the novel that we'll ever read. But let's start with 16, guys, with Toll. What are some of the things that you wrote down for this section and what it means?
I do.
Yeah, Abby.
Vardaman comes to the house at midnight dripping what?
Okay, good. Whose house? Yeah, good. So Toll's house, okay? So again, we've talked a lot about the psyche of Vardaman and his grieving. Don't y'all think it means a lot, the fact that he walked 4 miles alone in the rain to be near the Tolls, that he didn't want to be at home, okay? So again, this is a huge part about this 7-year-old, and we can surmise that he is around the age of 7. Once we meet, there's one more character I'm waiting for us to meet, and then I'll go through each character, how old they are, and all of their different connections, okay? For 16, it really shows how Vardaman is hurting.
That one is far back. Yeah, that one right there.
Lauren.
Yeah, that one sits right there.
Are you calling out yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
that
That's so
is
honest.
so honest.
I didn't know where to
I'm
read this.
so proud of you.
I thought
Yes.
that was Monday.
Okay, so Jeb already told me, Lauren, Corey, you didn't have your homework, but everyone else did.
So basically the same people that always don't have their
I always do it. Look at all this. I got stamps and everything. It was a weekend,
Okay.
okay?
I
Okay.
actually had a reason I didn't have.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Even I did it. I was your win.
Yeah, and I
We
feel
get
so,
it. You're a star.
Claire, I was really impressed with your commitment to having to listen to me in your car.
Yeah.
Surprised-
Yeah, like it's bad.
Oh gosh, I'm sure it was
Yeah,
like
alright, it's gotta be worse
car
than
sick.
Yeah, it was bad. Well, not this time. And then you showed her the cookie cake. But I was sad.
Yeah, you showed her the cookie
You showed her the cookie.
Sorry.
I was sad.
I was like, check out this. You can't eat it. That was pretty rough. Okay. No, I felt bad. I was like, dang, they're having to listen to me in the car. Not good. Okay. So 16, yeah. So we have Toll here, right? He's talking about how Vardaman has come to the house, and Vardaman is clearly upset. He also says some things about Cora too that really highlights there is a lot of respect between Toll and Cora. He really does respect the fact that she is a Christian woman and that she does her best. This quote here on the bottom of page 73, I reckon she's right. I reckon if there's e'er a man or woman anywhere that he could turn it all over to and go away with his mind at rest, it would be Cora. That he is God. So he really does respect his wife and her religion there, and the religion that they share. So that's really important. Okay, section 17. You're going to have a quiz tomorrow on this section and everything I'm about to write on the board. Only 17 is what you'll be quizzed on tomorrow. I mean, you're going to continue reading. You still have your normal homework for tonight, but know that you're going to want to review these notes, okay? So you're going to want to have some paper out, some pencil, and writing down some of the stuff that I'm going to go over that is significant for 17.
And the whole thing is just 17, like not 16, 17.
Yeah, the quiz is just on 17. Yeah, okay. So, guys, what did y'all write down for 17? I want to start there. Like, what did y'all find the significance? Claire?
I just put, like, he just explains, like, why he put the coffin on a slant.
Okay, good.
I don't remember like, the exact reasoning, but I know he was just like, oh, they put the mom backwards.
Okay, yeah. So we know that 17, the beginning, is Darl's perspective on all of them kind of fighting to finish the coffin, right? And helping Cash finish it. And then we have Cash's list that kind of explains exactly why it's beveled, right? And why he's done it the way he needs it done. So again, 17 is all of them really struggling. We also have evidence, is it in, I get it mixed up just because I've read all of it. Is it in 16 where we find out that Vardaman has nailed holes?
Oh, that's
Beginning
Yeah,
of
that's
17, I
16.
think.
That's
Is it in
16?
17 or 16?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
it-
it is in 16.
I thought it was the beginning of 17.
That was broke.
It talks about Cash plugging the holes of Vardaman board.
Yeah. Well, so then we know that Cash tries to go and correct it. But I think it is something that I do think that Toll's the one who tells us that Vardaman had done that. And that 2 of the holes actually went into her like head, right? So, and then we're going to talk a lot about the body and things like that in 1 second. Okay, good. So for Darl, the beginning is all of them trying to, in the rain, trying to really get Addie into the coffin, get this coffin finished, and get it good to go. Okay. So the most important part though is on page 80. If y'all have your books, please turn to page 80, because again, this is the entire point of what Faulkner is doing here with all these different perspectives. Okay. So at the bottom of page 80, I'm going to read this to the end. Okay.
Wait.
What?
Are you talking about anything?
Yes.
You wait a second.
Yes, I'll wait.
Where are we?
Just in a strange room. It's like the 4th or the 3rd paragraph there. Okay. In a strange room, you must empty yourself for sleep. And before you are emptied for sleep, what are you? And when you are emptied for sleep, you are not. And when you are filled with sleep, you never were. I don't know what I am. I don't know if I am or not. Jewel knows he is, because he does not know, and he does not know whether he is or not. He cannot empty himself for sleep, because he is not what he is, and he is what he is not. Beyond the unlamped wall, I can hear the rain shaping the wagon that is ours, the load that is no longer theirs, that felled and sawed it, nor yet theirs that bought it, and which is not ours either, lie on our wagon, though it does, since only the wind and the rain shape it only to Jewel and me, that they are not asleep. And since sleep is not, and rain and wind are was, it is not. Yet the wagon is, because when the wagon is was, Addie Bundren will not be. And Jules is, so Addie Bundren must be. And then I must be, or I could not empty myself for sleep in a strange room. And so if I'm not emptied yet, I am is.
I totally agree with that.
Okay, good. So again, this is why I feel like I have to just kind of break it down, because this is like super meta. I mean, I don't really know another word for that.
Meta.
Okay, yeah. So guys, this is basically Darl at the end of the day. They have just put Addie in the coffin, and we know too that there's a memorial or funeral that actually happens too, right? So his mother is now inside of the coffin, and he goes into his room that night, and this is his thought process after just losing his mother. Okay, so that's what we're reading here. But what I want to start with is the imagery that begins with on page 75, this very first line that says, the lantern sits on a stump. Okay, so right away, we know that this chapter is going to be some type of illumination. And this is imagery that's representative of the illumination of Darl's mind and the perspective that he has. Okay, so you are going to need to know that. Sorry, I'm going to try to do this here. Okay, so again, the lantern sits on a stump. And that is on page 75. Okay, it is representative of the imagery, obviously. Okay. So, all right, good. We have all of this.
See it.
Sorry, I don't know how to.
Does this imagery?
Can you still see that, Peyton? If I do it like that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Can y'all see it better? Okay, cool. All right, so again, we have from the very first line of this, we know that now we are getting an inside glimpse, an inside track into Darrell's mind, even deeper than we have before. And then on top of that, the fact that Darrell himself illuminates others' minds. So there's this almost like double meaning to that imagery that's happening, okay? So this entire paragraph, all it's doing is switching two words. What are the two words that he's contemplating? Yes, good. Okay, so this entire time he's talking about this idea of was versus, I'm going to do it in quotes, is was versus is. Okay. Okay. So again, we have Darrell, this entire paragraph is truly him struggling to use language to express his grief. But y'all, he falls short because as confusing as it is to you as the reader, it's confusing to him as well, okay? He is struggling to be able to express himself. But if any of y'all have ever lost someone, which I'm sure most of you have, unfortunately, it's something that's inconceivable, right? It's something that's really hard to put into words, okay? This is the overall message and point of Faulkner's story. Language, no matter how many different perspectives we get it, there is a power to language, but it still falls short in a way, right? We still can't always express exactly what we want, exactly what we need. And Darrell here is trying to cling to language to help him get through his mother's death. But we know that that is like just not possible, okay? So again, that's what that entire thing is, right? If Addie was and is, but now she's a was, then what am I? And what makes me is and what makes her was and what makes, right, even the wagon out in the field and is versus was, okay? So again, he's complicating these two words in order to try to understand the loss of his mother, which is a loss that is one of the deepest losses anyone can experience in their life, okay? So that's what that's all about, okay? This whole chapter is about the volatile nature of existence and the impermanence of existence. I'm going to write those words down and we're going to talk about what they mean, okay? In this other room here. The volatile nature of existence and the impermanence. Okay. What does the word volatile mean?
No clue. Wait, what's that saying? I can't read it.
Toxic.
Volatile nature of existence and impermanence.
Like
Eruptuous.
Toxic. Okay, what else?
Eruptuous. No?
Eruptuous.
Yeah, violent.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, what else? It's unpredictable too. If something is very volatile, it's unpredictable. I have here the definition,
Eruptuous.
liable to change rapidly, especially for the worse.
So unpredictable.
Eruptuous.
Yep, good. Okay, what about impermanence? If something's
forever.
Yeah, good. It doesn't last forever. Okay. So again, we have words that classify these things, right? It is, and when it's not anymore, then it becomes a was, right? So we try to use language to classify this divide, this binary. and yet it still falls short. Because this is a huge concept, right? This idea of existing or not existing. And some would argue that in Greek, people don't become a was, that they live on forever, right? Or they live in you, or they, live in heaven, right? Whatever it is that you believe. So again, that's where the words in the language that Faulkner is constantly playing with kind of fall short here. But we know that through the perspective of this novel and every different perspective of the characters, that he does place an importance on language, because we wouldn't be able to understand if we didn't have it. So it's this ambiguous relationship that he has with it, which is really beautifully done. And I know it comes across as confusing, but that's the point. It's meant to be confusing. Yeah, Lauren.
Would impermanence be like a synonym for mortality?
Yeah, exactly. Or finite, right? All of those different things. Okay, so again, Darrell's character throughout, what we're always going to read with him, he mixes up reality with imagination. And that's why his chapters can be some of the most difficult parts. Okay, so I'm going to put here reality versus, I think I used the word imagination. Yeah. Okay, again, this is what makes him difficult to understand. Okay, and then also to the word omniscient, which I think I spelled it right here.
There was an omniscient
Narrator.
narrator.
All knowing, right? Okay, does that better explain that paragraph?
Yeah.
Do we understand its significance to the overall, kind of themes of the book here?
So do all books have like something like this in them? Not obviously this is ten, but they all have one thing that symbolizes something in that.
I mean, usually like a message or something they're trying to get across. We label them as themes, but I feel like what's cool about this book is that it's so,
I didn't find a theme except not even guilt. I mean, I guess innocence with Ferdinand, but Ferdinand.
Innocent.
Vardaman. Yeah, good. I didn't know if you meant Vernon. You combined their names. That was cool. That was like a combine of Vernon and Vardaman. Nice.
Well, it's not really a lack of theme. It's not that there's so many themes. It's hard to see what is and what isn't.
Exactly.
Totally. And for each different person, it's like a different journey and a different lesson to be learned, right?
The sister, her main theme is like corruption and guilt of the baby and
Totally.
everything that's happening.
And we'll talk about at the end, but guys, this is what's so important. This idea of language is going to come into play again with another character, and we're going to see them grapple with it. Guys, stop. Okay, so quickly, again, you have a quiz on this tomorrow. So you're going to want to review it. You're going to want to make sure you understand it. You're going to want to...
Can we read it again, you think? Would that help?
Yes, and I would definitely understand in a strange room, we empty ourselves for sleep. I remember that one. Okay. All right. So, good. All right. Let's move on quickly to the rest of these sections here, and then we'll just quickly go over our response analysis. Okay. 18 is cash, and it's just a list. What did y'all say is significant about this? What does this tell us about cash?
Oh yeah, wait, what?
He's very mechanical, it's very cut clean, you know what I mean? It's more of a task and less of a depth to him.
Good. Yes. So the way he looks at things, it's very different than Darrell, who we have all over the place, right? And we're not quite sure if it's his thoughts or someone else's thoughts or someone else's experience. Cash, we get it straightforward, just a list, right? So we know that he is a more straightforward character. He's very analytical and methodical, okay? Then we have one of the most famous lines out of the book. My mother is a fish, okay? So now we have Vardaman making the direct comparison with the fish and his mother. And that night in section 16, when he shows up at Cora and Toll's house, he's really upset. He keeps talking about, right, how the fish was flopping around and he can still see the marks in the dirt where it was alive. And then we get other evidence of how he starts like screaming, and that's when he kind of runs out whenever the fish is being cooked for dinner. So again, that's the same thing. The language comes into it, right? The fish is swimming, the fish is alive, right? The fish is living, but now the fish is a was. And so he's comparing his mother to that as well. So we have this idea of the only way that Vardaman can connect to what's happened to his mom is to connect the only other thing that's died, right? Which is the fish.
This chapter.
Yes.
The one time I didn't read is the coolest chapter.
Yeah, that's true. These were good ones.
No.
These are pretty good. And then we have another really cool thing that happens. In Toll's
Spoiler.
section,
Spoiler.
He draws the casket.
yes, okay? So we have it on page 88. It's literally a casket. Do y'all see how Faulkner is totally like destroying all the rules of fiction in
Yeah.
prose writing, right? He's just doing whatever he wants here. When it comes to punctuation, when it comes to complete, incomplete sentences, when it comes to italicizing, when it comes to even just drawing what he means, right? So again, he's really shattering, but he's also combining the beauty of poetry and prose. That's what he's doing here, guys. And that's what makes him, I would argue after reading this, he is the greatest of the Southern Gothic because of the way he's able to do this. Okay, good. So in Toll's chapter, for section 20, what did y'all say? Like what was the main thing? Yeah, so this is like the funeral that's going on. They have the preacher, Whitfield, who's come. He's someone that you definitely want to remember. Whitfield, and he talks about how he goes through a test of God by trying to cross the river. So did y'all pick up there's foreshadowing? To get to Jefferson, they're going to have to cross a bridge.
And they drop the body. They drop the casket in the river.
That bridge has been like flooding with water, right? And so they're going to have to take a longer way, and they're still going to have to cross a bridge, right? Whitfield has come to the service to be able to be the preacher, and he has like a trial by God going through the river. We're going to get his perspective of that later in the book, and Whitfield will be actually very important to the story. Little foreshadowing there. Okay, we also have, did y'all notice Toll also has italicized bits throughout his too? Again, we get his almost like, it's the unconscious thoughts is almost the way with Toll. Like we get his regular thoughts, and then his italicized like lines are even more deeper into the unconscious. And so, I mean, Faulkner's just trying to tackle a lot here. Not only what we think, but what we don't know we're thinking, right? And that's pretty intense and really well done, what he's doing. And again, while Toll's thinking all of this and having conversations with Ann's here, we find out that Ann's is going to be so stubborn because their wagon is broken, right? The wheel is broken on their wagon. And Toll says, by the time, because y'all, did y'all notice that Darrell and Jewel aren't back yet? Have y'all picked up on that? Okay, so they went on their errand. By the time Darrell and Jewel get back, they go back to town to get a new wheel for the wagon or get whatever it takes to fix the wagon, and they can leave on their trip to Jefferson. Addie's body will have been sitting there for 3 days, okay? And so what you need to understand is that Toll actually says, I've offered my wagon, like take my team, take my horses. But Ann's is stubborn and says no. So instead of going right away, he waits for 3 days on Addie's body. And we also have open wounds on her body, right? From Vardaman trying to create nails. So the smell and the decay of the body is going to be a huge symbol. And again, I feel like starting off with the death, we already have something really incredible going on. But y'all, this is about to pick up and be like a whole nother level of like what's going on once they start on the move. Okay? All right, good. So that's good to know that it's going to be 3 days before they even embark on their trip to Jefferson. And we have foreshadowing about the bridges being out and the rain and the storms and all of these things. Okay? All right, what I want us to do quickly is the response and analysis questions for these that dig a little bit deeper into this, and then we'll be done for today. So let's go ahead and do your response and analysis.
What are we reading to? 21 to
21 to 25, yes.
Are we reading 25 or just 2?
25. I have the page numbers too. Does it say that they're on here? Is that yesterday? Okay, there you go.
Oh, no, I stepped on it, I didn't see it.
All right, guys. So number 1 in section 16, why does Barton go to Toll's house and why does he open the windows when he gets back home? Okay, so what is this symbolic about Bartiman's grief here? Like,
We're reading.
He just has to escape.
yes. Okay, good. So he goes to the Toll's house to actually try and escape, right? And we know too that he probably doesn't feel comfortable. Does it seem that he's received any type of comfort from his family?
No.
No. Okay, so again, we know that maybe him and Dewey Dale had that moment in the barn. But other than that, I mean, really, he was willing to walk 4 miles to get it, right?
She had the baby yet?
No. Okay, so,
Three months?
okay, yes. So, and then when he gets home, he opens up the windows. Y'all, he is suffocating in his grief. He doesn't know, right? He doesn't understand what's going on. No one will let him know anything. No one will comfort him. He's a child who is looking for some type of relief here, okay? Number 2, in section 17, what is the significance of William Faulkner's use of light, shadows, and rain? And what did they suggest about Darrell's character? Yeah, Lauren.
Darrell's a very back and forth character. He's imaginative, he's realistic, he's in the middle, he's kind of all over the place. And so the use of light is like his illuminative personality and like his use of imagination, while the shadows and rain are kind of like his grasp on reality and how he realizes that this is a morbid situation.
Totally. Good.
Turn that down a little bit for us, that was a lot.
Yeah, no, I think it's
you're
good.
It was good.
I think that we've talked about a lot of it, right? But these are all sensory experiences. So again, remember how I told you how Darrell's chapters are interesting because it's not just thoughts. We get feelings, we get tastes, we get emotions, right? We get so many different things. And I think Lauren did a really great job of wrapping that up. He's not just one thing. We can't classify him as one character. Cash, do you think we could classify him as one type of way? Absolutely. Methodical, right? Straightforward. I don't want to call him a 2D or boring character because he actually, there's a lot more to him. We found out that it's not just a minor situation he went through. He actually fell off the church and broke his leg. And do y'all see that he's not in a cast? There's no evidence that he's in a cast. He's standing up, building this coffin. So there's going to be more to Cash in his story and especially his injury, okay? But with Darrell, he's more than one thing, all right? Number 3, in section 18, why does William Faulkner provide a list of Cash's thoughts? Again, to characterize him through his thoughts as this methodical, analytical, go through the correct steps type of man. Okay, so in section 19, as in other sections in the novel, why does William Faulkner have Darrell narrate events he doesn't actually see happening? But this is, in section 19, this is wrong. This one's off. I think he actually means, let's just mark through that. I remember I went through this last year. Wait, is this the right one? In section 20, that's Toll. These are off.
I just crossed it off, so.
Yeah, let's just cross off these. I remember going through this last year. I must not have corrected it.
Is section 20 wrong also?
Yeah, 19 and 20, that's not correct because 19 is Vardaman. That's the fish.
What was 3? I didn't.
The list of Cash's thoughts, he's analytical in his thought process. Yeah, because section 20 is Toll. I remember this.
I think the number
Yeah,
5 is
section
from
19 is
16,
the-
yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not really. I think you're right.
This
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think after he goes to Tull's house, he walks outside and starts playing in a bog or whatever. She says there's no fish in there, and he tells her that Dewey said there was one in there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, y'all can mark these out. Again, the answer would be it's always that he's an omniscient narrator, right? And then, yeah, again, this was kind of our last discussion. So y'all just mark through those two, and I'll have to remember to actually correct them for next time.
Would the answer to 5B that she's trying to get him out of the house or what?
Why does Susie tell Barman there is a fish in the slot? Wait, I do remember that happening.
It happened in 16, I think.
In 16?
16 or 17. I'm pretty sure it was 16.
Mm-hmm. She's trying to distract him with something that he loves usually, right? But why is that the wrong thing to do?
He's digging around in a
Because
bog.
Because his mother is a fish, and he doesn't want to have to think about it. That's why it's going to upset him so much. So again, it's the fact that even with his own family, Vardaman is misunderstood. Okay, so yeah, guys, y'all can mark through these. They don't really make sense for the numbers. I apologize for that. I'll have to go check it out. But yeah, okay, good. All right, y'all. So tonight, let's look up the page numbers here. You're continuing on with 5 sections. Here we have sections 21 through 25, 94 through 104, okay? So again, I'm going to pass out your section summaries. Tomorrow we'll have a quiz at the beginning of class on everything I talked about with Darrell in section 17, so be sure to review that maybe during study hall tomorrow. And then we'll continue on. Guys, I know that some of y'all might be like reading ahead, which is awesome, and just to let you know, we will, I think we are going to read over the long weekend, but I'm not going to give you anything more than I usually would have for a night's reading. So just because we do want to kind of get through this. So we'll see where we're at. We'll see how we are. You'll probably have some class time to do it with Miss and I. As
What are
well.
we doing on Thursday when you're done?
Yeah, so Thursday I have a little video of me going through your reading from Wednesday, like this. Just when you think you can escape me when I'm not here, I just record myself talking some more. We love it. And then you'll have time to do your homework. Yeah. I'm going to Utah. Okay, all right, yes, Utah should. Okay, Peyton, are you good?
Utah.
Yes, ma'am, I'm good.
All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you too.
Bye.
Are there stuff in the house?